Welcome, friend. Today we will discuss Porphyria's Lover. It's a famous poem by Robert Browning. We all hear about Robert Browning and maybe also about the poem. So today we are going to discuss line by line about this poem. This is a very important poem. So first of all, I am going to discuss Browning's biography a little bit. We all know about Browning. He is very familiar to us. Still, it's a formality to introduce him briefly. He was born on 7th May 1812 and he was died on 12th December 1889 at the age of 77. So Robert Browning, like other famous poet, was also buried in Westminster Abbey. Westminster Abbey is known as Poets' Corner because famous poets are generally get buried there, and Chaucer is the first person to be buried in Westminster Abbey. Robert Browning was a Victorian poet. The reign of Queen Victoria that I have mentioned here is 1837 to 1901. This is a very important information and it's a net oriented question of an MCQ comes from this time frame, that what is Victorian frame. We often need to chronologically organize this age. So Robert Browning was a Victorian poet and he used to write during the reign of Queen Victoria. So Robert Browning is considered master of dramatic monologue. So Browning often satirized the male dominated system of Victorian era and the famous concept of angel and demon, that who will obey the rule of the patriarchal society will be considered as angel and who will not follow the rules of the patriarchal society will be considered as demon. That concept has been subverted by Browning here, and he is trying to project some possessive character through his dramatic monologue. So now we will discuss that what are the famous works written by Browning. So we all heard about My Last Touches. The second famous work is The Pied Paper of Hamelin, and then the next are these are the poems anthology Men and Women, The Ring. Now we will read the poem. The rain set early in tonight, the sullen wind was soon awake. So the very beginning line of the poem is suggesting that the weather is not normal. So we are getting the message through this line that something is not okay. The weather is in a very bad mood. The rain set early in tonight. So it's raining actually when the poem begins. So the rain comes today very early and the sullen wind was soon awake, and the wind also became strong and it also has started to demonstrate its power. It tore the elm tops down for spite. Elm is a kind of tree. So the strong wind is actually breaking the top of the elm tree. It is actually breaking the branches from the tree. And did it worst to vex the lake? And did it worst to vex the lake? So the strong wind is also creating a rippling effect on the lake. We all know that when wind starts to flow in a very strong way, it creates very strong effect on water bodies. I listened with heart fit to break. So the poet was waiting for his heart breaking. Why the poet is waiting for his heart to break? Because the poet is thinking that even in this bad weather, when rain and storm are very strong, whether his beloved will be able to meet with him or not. He is actually thinking that in such a bad weather, whether his beloved Porphyria will be able to come to meet with him or not. So that's why he is little bit tensed. So he is tensed because he is thinking that his beloved will not be able to come to meet with him. That's the main object of tension in the speaker here. When glided in Porphyria. So when Porphyria enters into the house, ultimately, despite bad weather, Porphyria comes to meet her lover, to meet with the speaker. Straight she shut the cold out and the storm. So after entering into the house, what Porphyria does first is Porphyria shuts down the door so that the outside cold atmosphere doesn't enter inside the house, and knelt and made the cheerless great blaze up. So what Porphyria does next is Porphyria kneels in front of the fireplace. So the setting of the poem is in Western country. So we all know that in Western country, people used to keep a fireplace inside house so that when the temperature will be very cold, they light the fireplace and it will release the heat and make the room warmer. So Porphyria kneels to enlighten or to put the fire on fireplace so that the room becomes little bit warmer and all the cottage warm. So after setting the fire, the cottage becomes warm, which done she rose and from her form withdrew the dripping cloak and shawl. So after setting the fire, Porphyria starts to unclothe herself, as because this is a very rainy day, the rain and storm have made Porphyria wet. So Porphyria is actually unclothing her wet clothes. She withdrew dripping cloak and shawl and laid her soiled gloves by, and she also removes her wet soiled gloves, untied her hat and let the damp hair fall. So in order to dry the wet hair, Porphyria untightened her wet hair. At last she sat down by my side. So Porphyria, after doing all the basic activities, comes beside her lover and sits down by him and called me. So Porphyria actually wants to speak with her lover, to converse with her lover. That's why she has come even in this rainy and stormy weather, when no voice replied. So when Porphyria calls her lover, the speaker here is not responding. The speaker is quite passive. He is not conversing with Porphyria, he is silent. And when the lover is not responding, what Porphyria does? In the next line, she put my arm about her waist. So when Porphyria is not getting the concentration of the lover, When she is calling him, he is not responding. So, in order to draw his attention, Porphyria puts her lover's hand on her waist in order to draw the concentration of him, and made her smooth white shoulder bare. And she also removes the clothes from her shoulder, and she exposes her white shoulders, bare white shoulders, in front of her lover. So we can clearly see that intimacy is present between the two lovers. They are comfortable with one another in coming close and doing some personal activities. So here the sign of intimacy is clearly conspicuous in this line. And all her yellow hair displaced. She is putting the lover head on her shoulder to get the attention from him. And stooping made my cheek lie there and spread over all her yellow hair. So, and she also spreads the yellow hair over the head of her lover, murmuring how she loved me, she too weak for all her heart's endeavor. So, Porphyria is actually confessing that how much she loves him. And she is weak, because why she is weak? She too weak for all her heart's endeavor to set its struggling passion free from pride and veneer ties desire. So Porphyria is weak. Porphyria is not free to give herself entirely in the hand of her lover, because Porphyria has some restriction, social restriction, some family problems. That's why she is not able to stay with her lover forever. She has some social problem that is hindering him from freely mixing with her lover. So Porphyria is struggling with her passion. So Porphyria actually loves the speaker very much, but she is unable to meet with him always. That's why she is struggling, because she is trying to control her emotion. And as because she has some problem, from this line we can see that from pride and veneer ties desire, because she has some societal problem, pride of family. That's why she is unable to mix with her lover freely and give herself to me forever. So as because there are some social problems and some family problems, Porphyria unable to give herself to her lover forever. But passion sometimes would prevail. Porphyria sometimes unable to control her emotions, and that comes in front of the speaker's eyes. But passion sometimes would prevail. Nor could tonight's gay feast restrain. So there was a feast going on Porphyria's house, and Porphyria, unable to enjoy that feast, the party that was going on in Porphyria's house, Porphyria was unable to concentrate on that party. A sudden thought of one so pale, because Porphyria was thinking about a person so deeply, for love of her all in vain. Actually, she was thinking about her lover so badly, she was missing her lover so badly that she was unable to concentrate on the feast, and all in vain. She was unable to enjoy that feast. The feast goes in vain. So she was come through wind and rain, and Porphyria was missing her lover so badly that she came to meet with her lover, ignoring the bad weather, ignoring the rainy and stormy weather. But sure, I looked up at her eyes, happy and proud. And the speaker is saying that when Porphyria meets with him, Porphyria becomes very glad, very happy and proud. At least I knew Porphyria worshipped me. Surprise made my heart swell, and still it grew while I debated what to do. So, when the speaker gets the affirmation that Porphyria also equally love him so blindly, so affectionately, the speaker also becomes very happy, knowing that the Porphyria also loves him blindly. So the love is reciprocal here. From the both way, both of them equally love one another so deeply. And when the speaker is getting that affirmation, the speaker also feels very proud and happy. And when the speaker was thinking all about this, then the last line indicates that while I debated what to do, but he was in confusion, in some trauma, that what to do. We all know that famous quotation of Hamlet, to be or not to be, that is the question. So, this line, while I debated what to do, is here deployed in a negative sense. The speaker is thinking about to do something bad. That's why his mind is hesitating. He is in tension that what to do, what I should do. He is actually thinking about to murder, to kill Porphyria. So in the next para, that moment, she was mine, fair, perfectly pure and good. So we can see that the character of Porphyria is very perfect and pure. Porphyria is a very pure woman. She is pure and good. And the speaker is saying that Porphyria is only mine. Here, from the very word mine, the word mine has been used twice to express the possessive nature of the lover. This is a very Victorian societal feature, so that a lover or a wife is completely the property of her lover or husband. So wife is the property of husband and the beloved is the property of lover. So this is here satirized. So as if Porphyria is not a human being, not a living being, she is an object of love. That moment she was mine, fair, perfectly pure and good. So we can clearly see the possessive nature of the speaker or possessive nature of the lover is clearly conspicuous in this line. I found a thing to do and all her hair in one long yellow string. I would 3 times her little throat round and strangled her. This is the surprise moment that we can see clearly. So what the speaker does, the speaker, while they were sitting together, the speaker takes the hair of Porphyria's. So the speaker makes a string out of Porphyria's yellow hair and round it and a speaker 3 times I would 3 times her little throat around. So what speaker does, speaker takes the hair and repeat 3 times around her neck, just like that of a string. See, puts it around her neck in such a way. So actually here he is planning to strangle her. So now I am again repeating this line. In one long yellow string, I would 3 times her little throat around. So he puts her hair around her neck and strangled her, and finally he kills Porphyria. No pain felt she. So even after the death, after the killing, after the murder, the speaker is thinking that Porphyria has not felt any pain. I am sure that the speaker is also quite sure here that the Porphyria has not felt any pain. I am quite sure she felt no pain. So the speaker here doubly assuring that Porphyria has not felt any pain because she has not made any sound. If she would have felt any pain, she would cry. But here Porphyria silently accepts the death as a sad bird that holds a bee. This is an example from the natural world. When a bud blooms and a bee sits on it, and the small bird closes its petal, the bee gets locked inside the bud. So this is the situation here. The poet is actually referring to compare the death. So similarly, Porphyria, like a bee on a bud, gets died on the hand of her lover. It's a very pity moment that a lover is killing own beloved. I wearily oft her lids again, laughed the blue eyes without a stain. So after the death, after the murder, the speaker opens the eyelids of Porphyria and notices that there is not a single mark, there is no stain, there is not a single mark on her blue eyes. And I untightened next the trace about her neck. So then the speaker unties the hair that was around her hair. Her cheek once more blushed and bright beneath my burning kiss. So the speaker is here thinking that the Porphyria is blushing because of the burning kiss, because of the passionate kiss of the lover. But unfortunately here the situation is that a dead person cannot blush. Porphyria is dead, so she cannot blush. So what is happening here? She is blushing because the blood flow that was blocked on her neck is flowing towards her face after loosening of the hair. That's why Porphyria is blushing, and the speaker is thinking that Porphyria is blushing because of her passionate kiss. I propped her head up as before, only this time my shoulder bore her head. So they are sitting side by side, and as Porphyria is dead and the speaker puts Porphyria's head on his shoulder, the situation is quite opposite like the previous sitting position. In the first opening portion, we can see that the Porphyria is actually carrying the shoulder of her lover, and after the death, we can see that the lover is carrying the head of Porphyria on his shoulder. Her head, which droops upon its tail, the smiling rosy little head, so glad it has its utmost will. So even after the death, Porphyria's rosy little head. So the speaker is saying that Porphyria becomes happy after their death, because the speaker here actually fulfills the last desire, last will of Porphyria. What Porphyria wanted? Porphyria actually wanted to stay with her lover forever, so that nobody could disturb them when they will talk, when they will speak, when they will pass time together. And that was not possible because there was some social problem, there was some family problem, there was some restriction in her personal life. So the speaker, after killing Porphyria, actually solves all the problem what Porphyria was actually facing. So by killing her, the speaker actually fulfills all her unfulfilled desires. So where I was, utmost will. The next line, that all it scorned at once is failed. So all the problems, all the hatred, all the scorn are just get away at once. So after the death, so death is the solution to all these problems. So after killing of Porphyria, nobody is going to disturb them. Nobody is, there will be no pressure from the society that Porphyria no need to go. Actually, they can sit the entire night together side by side. There will be no social tension, as because Porphyria is dead. Porphyria is died. That all its scorned at once is fled, and I, its love, am gained instead. So all the problems just get away and their love is gained. So Porphyria actually gains her love, because there will not be any problem. Porphyria will not be in hurry to go back to her home. Porphyria's love, she guessed not how her darling one wish would be heard. So this way, Porphyria's love has been fulfilled by the speaker after killing her. Porphyria's love, she guessed not how her darling one wish would be heard. And thus we sit together now, and all night long we have not stirred, and yet God has not said a word. So after the death, they are sitting side by side together the entire night. Nobody is disturbing, and Porphyria is no longer in hurry to go back to her home. So that's, in this way, the lover gains the love of her beloved. So they could enjoy the entire night. They could sit together the entire night, and nobody is going to disturb them. And even after seeing this situation, this event, God is even surprised. God has nothing to say after observing this situation, that how a lover is trying to solve all the problems by killing his beloved. So this is the poem. Actually, we can see there is a shocking therapy is going on inside the poem. To break the contradiction, to break the way of normal poetry, Browning has actually deliberately written this kind of poetry to actually contradict the normal tradition, normal flow of the poetry. That's why he is famous. So if we try to prepare some MCQ question from this poetry. So how is Porphyria killed? So in which a Porphyria was killed? So here we can see 4 options. She is stabbed. No, she is not at all stabbed. She is drowned. No, this is also wrong. She is strangled. Yes, she is strangled. She is strangled. The lover killed her with the help of her yellow hair. She is shot. It's also false. The next question is that the color of Porphyria's hair was black, white, yellow, golden. We all know that it is clearly mentioned in the poem that the Porphyria's hair was yellow. And the second question is that in Porphyria's lover, why does the narrator commit his crime? So why the lover kills his beloved? To punish Porphyria, for financial gain, to preserve Porphyria's love, to take revenge. Try to answer yourself. What is the genre of Porphyria's lover? Is it a sonnet, a dramatic monologue, lyric, elegy? I have discussed in the very beginning about the genre of this poem, and this poem falls under the genre of dramatic monologue. And the answer of the previous one will be that in Porphyria's lover, why does the narrator commit his crime? To preserve Porphyria's love. So the lover actually wanted to fulfill the last wish or last desire of Porphyria. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please share and subscribe.